All right, let's get right into it. For, decades, the whole drama of tennis was all about human skill, the rivalries, and yeah, sometimes some very, very human error. But over the last 20 years or so, there's been this quiet revolution happening, and it's all powered by high-speed cameras and artificial intelligence. So we're going to break down how this tech went from just settling arguments to completely reshaping how the game is played, how it's coached, and even how we watch it.
Here's how we're going to do it. We'll start with that classic, age-old problem, the disputed line call. Then we'll get into the nuts and bolts of how the solution, Hawkeye, actually works. From there, we'll explore the really cool part, how that same tech became this incredible coaching tool. And finally, we'll take a look ahead at what's next for the sport.
So I want you to just picture this. A tennis ball is flying at over 150 miles per hour, and it just kisses the absolute edge of a white line. We're talking championship points, millions of dollars on the line. And the decision? It all comes down to a split-second judgment call by a human being. For the longest time, that was just the reality of professional tennis.
Oh, we've all seen it, right? That explosive moment of pure disbelief. The player pointing at the mark on the clay. Just that raw emotion boiling over because a whole career can pivot on a single call that might just be wrong. That friction, that conflict, it was at the very heart of the sport for a century.
So that's the big question, isn't it? When the speed of the game literally outpaces what the human eye can process, what do? Do you just accept that error is part of the game? Or do you go searching for some kind of objective truth? Well, that fundamental question is what opened the door for a total technological takeover. And the answer, as you probably know, came in the form of a system called Hawkeye. When it first showed up in the early 2000s, it made a huge promise to replace subjective judgment with cold, hard, objective data. And in doing so, it changed the role of the umpire forever.
The concept itself is actually pretty simple to wrap your head around. Instead of just relying on one or two pairs of human eyes, Hawkeye basically surrounds the court with a whole team of hyper-aware digital witnesses. Each one is watching the ball from a totally different perspective.
The real magic happens in this four-step process. First, a bunch of high-speed cameras capture the ball from every angle you can imagine. Then, powerful software zips through all those frames to find the ball's exact position. And here's the key part. By combining all those different viewpoints, a process called triangulation, the system builds a perfect 3D model of the ball's path through the air. The final step is translating all that data into that iconic graphic we all know, showing exactly where the ball landed, down to the millimeter.
So how precise are we talking? Well, the average margin of error is just 3.6 millimeters. That's incredibly accurate. It's often smaller than the little bits of fluff on the tennis ball itself. That level of precision just completely removes any and all ambiguity from the equation.
You see, this was a fundamental shift in the game. It's like we moved from the subjective, kind of messy world of human perception to the clean, objective world of data. With Hawkeye Live, the ruling is instant and it's definitive. And just like that, the arguments, they basically vanished.
But, and this is where the story gets really, really interesting, the technology that was built to be a referee accidentally became the world's greatest coach. See, by solving the problem of line calls, the system was now tracking every single movement on the court. And that created an absolute goldmine of performance data. All of a sudden, coaches and players had access to information they could only guess at before. We're talking about the exact speed a player is moving, the spin rate on the ball, in revolutions per minute, serve placement patterns down to the inch, and these incredibly deep insights into how rallies are won and lost.
And the data gets even more personal with wearable sensors. You have metrics like player load, which can now measure a player's physical stress during a match. This isn't just about strategy anymore. This is about science-based training, managing fatigue, and preventing those career-threatening injuries. It's a total game changer.
Now, this data gets even more powerful when you let AI loose on it. An AI can instantly look at all this and tell a player, hey, when you're standing in this specific spot on the court, your forehand is your most effective winning shot 70% of the time. It can spot these winning patterns in minutes, something that might take a human coach weeks to figure out.
And it's going even deeper than just strategy. AI is now a biomechanics expert. It can analyze video of a player's serve, break it down frame by frame, and then compare it to a model of perfect form. It can then suggest these tiny little adjustments to generate more power or to reduce strain on the body.
So all of this leads us to the future, right? Where the relationship isn't just between an athlete and their tool, but between an athlete and a true technological partner.
I mean, just look at how fast everything is accelerating. It only took 5 years for Hawkeye to go from a cool invention to being used in a Grand Slam. Now, less than 2 decades later, we're talking about AI coaches as if they're normal. So what's the next logical step? Well, it could easily be an AI providing strategic advice during a match, in real time.
You can really see the evolution laid out right here. Technology started as the referee, simply answering, was it in or out? Then it evolved into an analyst, identifying the player's patterns. Today, it's a coach, asking, how can this player get better? The next step, it becomes the strategist, designing the perfect game plan before the first ball is even hit.
And you know, this revolution isn't just for the players on the court. Big companies like IBM are using this exact same AI to supercharge their broadcasts. They're generating these predictive insights, like the probability of a player breaking serve in the next game, all to make the viewing experience way more engaging and informative for millions of fans watching at home.
So we're left with this really fascinating question. As technology gets closer and closer to designing the perfect game plan, what happens to the human element? You know, the gut feeling, that spontaneous moment of genius, the pure intuition that has defined champions for 100 years. Is the future of sport just about executing an algorithm perfectly? Or will there always be room for that unquantifiable, beautiful magic of the human mind?